Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about 5 things you can do in your life when you find yourself worrying about the future and you don't know how to surrender this worry so you can start trusting that everything is actually working for you and the life you want to live is about to unfold. How to let go of the worries and mental suffering so we can trust the process. I will give you 5 steps that will help you on your path to find greater trust and believe into the process that is there for you, helping you to become the greatest you can be. So, my friend John Lennon once said, "Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end." And if we look back into our past and we recognize that, well, we've manifested something we wanted for a long time. And if we reflect that manifestation, we may recognize that at some point we thought that we will never make it happen. It will never come true. And we've started worrying and we've lost the belief into the possibility that it will work out. But at the end, we got that thing. At the end, it came to us. Have you experienced something like that? That's how you know that at the end, everything will work out well. And if you haven't experienced yet what you're dreaming about, what you're trying to manifest for a long time, there are 2 reasons. One is that what you're trying to manifest is not the thing that you really want on that heart level. You know, so often we may be influenced by our environment that we start to think like we want that amount of money or that we want that whatever thing, that kind of a relationship. We have so many ideas of how a perfect relationship should be, but there are so many false ideas of that. They are coming from social media and we need to be aware of that. We need to ask ourselves on that heart level what I really want, what is really the thing that will bring a greater sense of fulfillment into my life. So you need to ask yourself twice, not just once, what you truly want. Is that truly the right thing? And explore on that, be creative with that. That's the first thing. The second thing that you haven't received what you want to receive is that it's just not the right time yet. You see, everything is about learning the lesson. Everything is about growth. Life is all about growth, expansion, upgrading our understanding so we can expand our mind. And as we're moving on that path of evolution, we are moving sometimes through painful experiences that bring us the greatest lessons. And once we recognize the lesson, we stop repeating mistakes. And once we stop repeating mistakes, we embody greater actions. And greater actions develop greater habits. And suddenly we see that our life starts transforming. And suddenly we start receiving greater rewards for our efforts, right? And that's how the life works. So what are the 5 things you can do when you find yourself worrying? Well, the first thing you can do is to acknowledge your worries. Because sometimes we are worrying about the things we don't even know what are we worrying about. There may be so many different scenarios in our minds, like it will never come true. Or you may find yourself in a situation like being without money and you know that you need to pay the bills and you find yourself worrying that the world will end if you don't get the money. And I've been in that kind of a situation in the past, and that situation taught me that the idea that I had of the worst case scenario never came true. What I had as an idea of the worst case scenario, it never happened. Never, ever. It never happened. So what I've learned is that we need to go deeper into our worries and acknowledge them. Like, what are we really worrying about? What's that worst case scenario that we have in our mind? And if we try to accept the worst case scenario, we'll already be able to see so many different ways we could, or different paths we could take if that worst case scenario would happen. So it doesn't mean that you just surrender to that worry, but you free yourself from it. You see, worry is an illusional prison. It's a mental prison. And to free ourselves from the worry, we just need to acknowledge it. We just need to see it clearly. Like, clearing up the window so we can see through it clearly. When you're worrying, your mind is like a dirty window. You can't see through it. And when you acknowledge your worries and you say to yourself, let's try to accept that worst case scenario. What would truly happen? Would I lose my life? Would I lose my home, my clothes, my food? What would truly happen? And then see if you would behave any differently if all of those things would happen. Would you still follow your heart if all of those things would happen? Would it change anything? Just think about it. It's actually a really, really old method that can help us to let go of the worries. Because we're so attached to certain things, and that's why we're afraid to lose them. And when we let go of the attachment, we recognize that life is always working for us, and we don't need to be attached to anything. We need to be like a river that's always flowing. We need to flow with life. And when we are flowing, we're constantly receiving creative ideas, what to do with what we have. And once we are able to recognize those creative ideas that are flowing to us, we can grab them and we can do something with them. And the thing is that when you receive a certain creative idea, from the outside perspective, it's like the universe has chosen you because you have all the gifts, all the talents, all the strength, power, bravery, everything you need to make it happen. So the idea came to you for a reason, for a purpose. It's not just a spontaneous idea or a random idea. It came to you for a special reason. And that will help you to overcome any worry. If you're receiving great creative ideas, the universe has chosen you to grab them and to make something out of them. So acknowledge your worries, free yourself from worries, clear up your mind so you can see things clearly, but don't surrender to them. Always see through it, do not be blocked by your worries. The second thing is I want to remind you of the illusion of control. Often we try to control the outcome so we would experience what we want to see. But the thing is, we can't control life. Life is happening by itself, and it has a truly wise system. If you see the galaxies, if you see the universe, if you see the nature, how everything is functioning in a perfect flow, in a perfect motion. That's the system of life. So we can't control that. But we have that idea that we need to control things so we can experience what we want. And because we are holding on to that idea that we need to control things, we start forcing things to happen. So we start pushing too hard. And every time you push too hard, you actually push results away. You push what you want to see away. Because on the vibrational level, you're giving the signal you're not ready for it yet. You don't have it yet, because you're not ready for it yet. And that's where idea for letting go comes in. Because we have that need to control things, we feel a need to let go of control. You see, it's all an illusion. Life is happening by itself. And you can navigate life with your mind, with your attention. So, attention is the same as money. You know, when you invest your money into something, you will get something in return. And when you place your attention to something, you will get something in return as well. A sense of energy at the beginning. But if you stay consistent with placing your attention to something that's important to you, you will start thinking more about it. And suddenly you will start behaving according to what you're thinking about. And suddenly you will start taking greater actions according to what you're thinking about. For example, firstly you start to think like art is interesting. You show more interest into art. Maybe you go to visit some galleries or whatever. And suddenly you start thinking, well, maybe you want to try to paint as well. And suddenly you buy a canvas and some colors and brushes and you start to paint and you recognize that you're not really good at it. But you feel inspired to do it. So you continue doing it and suddenly you become better at doing it, right? And you find a great joy in progressing at art, at creating art. So you find yourself being more and more passionate about creating and suddenly your art is becoming better and better. And suddenly people started asking you if you're selling it and suddenly you've started making money with it. And suddenly you've recognized that you're becoming even better and better at it. And suddenly galleries started writing you if you would sell your art to the galleries and so on. You see? Everything can be initiated just by paying attention to something that's important to you. So you see, things should happen without a lot of effort. Almost effortlessly. And that's how the manifestation works. So I've explained this process of an artist. It's just one example, but it always works like that. We firstly start placing more attention to something that is important to us. And then we start naturally thinking about it. And because we start to think about it, we also start asking ourselves, can we do something about it? If it's so interesting, if it seems so fun, maybe can I start doing it? And whatever it is, it's in sports, it's exactly the same. On social media, it's exactly the same. Whatever, it's all exactly the same. We are not controlling the outcome. We focus on what we want to see and we start walking towards it, right? You make a plan where you start, like a to-do list, or so you write down some goals, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, what you want to create. And you keep up with that process and eventually you will become better at it. So you will not be worrying when things will happen because you know that everything takes time. And that's how you grow and evolve. So let go of the illusion of control. And you will not need to let go of anything else. You will not feel a need to let go of anything else. Just let go of that illusion that you need to control something. Sometimes people are trying to control other people in relationships, for example. But then you recognize that to heal a relationship means that you just try to be better at it. You try to be more honest. You try to be more authentic, more open, more vulnerable. And the person you're in relationship with will notice that you're doing the work and that other person will start to do it as well. If not, well, maybe it's a red flag, but that's how you start, right? Your environment will always reflect the changes that you are making within yourself. And that's a truly important reminder. The third thing that will help you to surrender to the universe is to always stay solution focused. Always orient your mind to solutions. Because when it seems like nothing is working in our favor, it seems like the universe doesn't support your path. But actually, when things are not working in your favor, things are always working in your favor. And you've been exposed to the challenges so you would strengthen your muscles, right? So you can become stronger, so you can recognize that hard times are making strong people. And that's something that often people forget. Because when we are moving through hard times, we think that everything is working against us. But at one point in the future, after we overcome those hard times, we recognize that the strength we've gained in those hard times helped us to become who we always wanted to be. And that's something I've learned, because I would never be able to do what I'm doing today if I would not move through my hardest times. And you know that for yourself, because you've been through many hard times that taught you what you need to know about yourself. So you were able to overcome that. So you were able to become who you are today. If you reflect just 1 year ago from now, and right now is a perfect time to do that kind of a reflection as we are moving into a new chapter of a new year, you will recognize that you've changed so much. You've grown so much. You've evolved so much. And you've evolved because of the hard times, mostly, right? So when you stay solution focused, you will always find out what you can do to make things better. And that's how you learn the lesson that hard situation taught you. Focus on the solution. What is the solution right now? What can you do right now? What can you change so you can become that greatest version that you know you can be? The fourth thing that will help you to surrender and trust is to do your best. Always do your best. Whatever you're doing, do your best, because that's the vibration of being ready. When you do your best, you're vibing in that energy that you're ready. You're giving the signal that you're ready to receive. At whatever you're doing, even if you're hating your job, do your best at your job. And you will notice that soon opportunities will find you for a better job, or something that you truly love to do will find you. Just do your best at what you're doing. Because if you're not doing your best, you're giving a signal out that you're not ready for something better. So it's all about the vibe that you feel within you, right? Always do your best. When you in tune with that inner feeling, that inner compass, do your best at recognizing what it is saying to you, what that song within your heart is singing, right? Where your heart is guiding you, always do your best to recognize the calling. Always do your best at taking actions towards it. Always do your best at improving your skills to become better at whatever you want to do. Always do your best, and you will see that the whole universe will support you. So always remember that. And the fifth thing, what to do to surrender and trust the universe, is just that understanding that nothing is permanent except change. And when we are moving through hard times, we think that those hard times are permanent, but they are not. It's a transition phase. So when you find yourself in a moment where you're lacking what you feel that you really need to be happy, you're in transition phase. But that transition phase is also teaching you that the happiness lays within you and you need to find it. It is teaching you that the greatest wealth is a peace of mind, and it's already within you. So remember that nothing is permanent except change. So wherever you are, whoever you are, however you are, times are changing, things are changing, and you are changing. If you find yourself in hard moments, recognize that it's all about a change. So it's time for you to focus on the changes that you wish to see. So you can know what you want, right? So we can move into the direction that will be best for you. So always stay solution focused. Always pay attention to what you truly want. Always tap into your heart and ask yourself, is that the thing that truly resonates with you? If you would be left with only the thing you think you want for the rest of your life, would you be fulfilled? Ask yourself that. And if the answer is no, then most probably you just need to dig a little bit deeper. Ask yourself what brings joy into your life, what brings happiness into your life. Because often people think that they don't know what they want. But truly, often the same people actually know what they want, but they don't believe that it's possible, so they start searching for easier ideas, something that is not big, like something smaller, right? And that's what I call looking on life from the limited box. And we need to learn to step outside of the box and recognize that everything is already in access to us. And we just need to believe into the process. We just need to surrender to the dreams that are calling us, to that inner voice that is navigating you through life. When you feel called to do something big, something you've never done before, go and try it out. Do it and follow that song of the heart. Follow it. Because life has plans for you. Much bigger plans than you can imagine. And only by following that calling, you will recognize what it is all about. So it doesn't matter how big or small it is, always pay attention. How is it resonating with you? My friends, this is it for today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I hope you found something valuable here today, and till next time, one love.